Hello, my name is Kyle Grossmiller. I'm a solutions architect at Pure Storage, and today we're going to talk about building a reference architecture that we jointly produced with VMware that's centered around building high-performance, multi-site reference architectures for VMware Horizon 7. So first, just a quick overview of the Pure Storage FlashArray//M replication engine, the way it works. Basically, our replication is a snapshot replication, so our snapshots are 100% deduped, they're 100% compressed. They're also immutable, so you can delete them in points in time without impacting previous snapshots whatsoever. It's simple to set up. You can set them up in a few minutes. You can snapshot volumes, you can snapshot a group of volumes, as well as hosts or groups of hosts. So lots of flexibility in terms of our snapshot schedule, which comes in handy for products like VMware Horizon, where there's multiple moving pieces that we're talking about here. Again, data reduction optimized as well, so they're always thin, always deduped, and then instantly recoverable as well, from both locally on the local array as well as when you asynchronously replicate it to a different array. So this is what we had recently at our Pure Storage Accelerate conference. Actually, sorry, I missed the slide, but anyway, like I said, with volumes and groups of volumes and hosts and groups of hosts, you're able to basically consistently deliver data protection across your entire enterprise or for the individual VMware Horizon components. Objects can also belong to multiple protection groups if you want to have a little bit more granular control over your protection engine. And again, you can have it run every few minutes, or you can have it run every few days, and very nice variable retention policies as well. So this is our asynchronous replication engine that we used for this particular paper. But what we introduced at our Pure Storage Accelerate conference is actually this notion of a stretched data cluster going across multiple arrays, basically synchronous replication. So this is called Active Cluster. It's currently undergoing beta testing now. We expect it to be out very soon, hopefully by the end of the year. And basically this is a full synchronous replication solution that's, I think, kind of unique in the industry, because the witness, that third-party site, actually lives within our Pure One cloud. So you don't need that third site witness in order to have a good synchronous replication solution. Also important here, zero RPO, zero RTO, and maybe most important of all, this is 100% included in cost. So, some of our competitors, this is a very expensive license. For us, it's just included for free, and and you get it via non-disruptive firmware upgrade. It'll be available before the end of the year. That's what we're targeting right now. So within Active Cluster, there's a few different ways that you're going to be able to set it up as well. You're going to have what we call rack HA, which is basically if you have under 5 milliseconds of latency between the two arrays, you'll be able to basically stretch a data store across two clusters, and it's presented to vCenter as a single data store. So that really unlocks a lot of neat possibilities for, especially for backing up things like VMware Horizon. I'll get into some of the stuff that I'm toying around with in the lab there shortly. We're also going to have a metro cluster synchronous replication solution that's good for up to 150 miles. And you can also couple that with our existing asynchronous replication as well to push that off to another third site for further backup and disaster recovery. And again, so this is 4 steps to set it up. There's one new command. It's active, and it's also 0 additional cost to our customers. So that's basically the money's shot right there, right? That's I think that's super exciting, and we're really excited to deliver it to our customers as well, because I think it's going to unlock a lot of doors. I'm going to get into now the existing white paper that we jointly developed with VMware that's around multi-site end user computing for VMware Horizon 7. These are the pieces of the puzzle that are covered under this paper. It's basically an active or active-passive data center design. And again, keep in mind, this is done using our existing asynchronous replication engine as well. So this can be done today, no problem at all. I just think that our Active Cluster solution is going to further make up for some additional efficiencies here. It shows you how to do Horizon 7 block and pod, desktops as well as RDSH, app volumes, VIDM, as well as User Experience Manager. I'm going to step into a little bit into User Experience Manager here just as an example, but all of these use cases are covered at length within this paper. I think it's 90 pages long, and it's freely available on VMware's as well as Pure Storage's websites. So from a primary VDI site configuration, there are some things that we want to keep in mind, right? So where do you want to place your user, and where does that data center align to that user? If your user's on the road a lot, do you want them to be able to connect to the data center that they're closest to, or do you want them to stick to just one data center? That RTO and RPO, excuse me, recovery point operation, recovery time operation, how quickly do you want to recover from a disaster, has huge implications in your Horizon 7 architecture design. The empty desktop. So what we're talking about here is decoupling, user persona, user profile, user applications from that desktop and making it truly stateless. That's why I think App Volumes and User Experience Manager are such great products, for VMware Horizon. And of course, SQL cluster, right? So things like App Volumes, Writable Volumes, leverages SQL, as well as things like VMware VMware Horizon Composer leverages SQL, for that disaster recovery. So having a solution like SQL Always On is very important in your design. So you got to have a little SQL know-how here as well for your Horizon deployment. And then finally, there's got to be a primary site in your environment. You do need to have one primary site for your VDI users. And that's basically the constructs under which this paper was created within. Oops. Sorry, I kind of blew up that slide there, but this is an active-active type of scenario. So basically, if you want to have an RTO and RPO that are both low, we recommend this type of setup, right? Basically, users can connect to either site. The sites are cross-connected via Horizon 7 Cloud Pod architecture, right? So you give them that single unified namespace to connect to, and basically intelligently pick which site they wish to connect into from there. This is good for, again, for users, mobile users who maybe roam from continent to continent, so you want them to connect to whatever data center is closest. And then obviously it's also consumable and available at both the primary as well as the secondary Horizon 7 site. Next, this is kind of an active-passive type of environment. So you have a primary site that all of your users connect into, and then again with Cloud Pod architecture, you are replicating that unified namespace across the two. And then again, this is for users who typically work in a single office location. With this, you are going to have a little bit of RPO and RTO in order to recover from some sort of disaster recovery scenario. But again, this paper outlines exactly how to do that in great detail and what you can expect as well. So again, I told you I'd mention a little bit about User Experience Manager in terms of how it relates to, or how it's captured within this paper, but also what we're experimenting with in the lab right now with respect to active cluster. So basically, the way it works with DFS, so basically setting up User Experience Manager on a UNC path, DFS share. DFSN is fully supported for UEM configuration share. DFSR is also fully supported in a hub and spoke type of topology. You basically connect to the management console only to the hub member to make changes, and then you basically let DFSR replicate the changes out for you. At the secondary site, users have read-only rights, and only admins can make changes. For the user profile share, DFS namespace, totally supported. DFSR in an active setup is not supported, but we're going to talk about that in a little bit in a second. The challenge with that, of course, is that DFSR does not have conflict resolution between that primary and secondary UEM site. And we've listed some of the limitations here. I believe these slides will be totally available to you guys afterwards if you want to download them, or I can provide them to you as well. So anyway, this is kind of what it looks like, right? This is how we set it up from within this reference architecture. So you have two pure storage arrays that are replicating these file shares asynchronously from the primary site to the disaster recovery site. That enables you to, in a failover type scenario, shift the active file shares and remount them at the secondary site in the event of a failover. But what I'm excited about and what we're messing around with in the lab right now is this notion of actively basically stretching that single data store across two arrays and basically hosting that Windows Storage Server UEM share across two arrays as a single namespace. So you're able to basically, if an array were to go down at one site, you would be able to, the recovery time would be instantaneous because it would just flip to that other site automatically. So anyway, that's what I'm messing around with right now in the lab using Windows Storage Server 2016 as well as a couple other technologies. So, there's a few obviously best practices that we're going to be coming out with, but just wanted to talk to you guys in terms of that's what's coming next. And I think that's going to be fairly transformative for things like UEM, for like app volumes, writable volumes, being able to seamlessly and immediately recover should one of your sites go down. So anyway, that's all I had today. I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have as well. And thank you guys for attending and sticking with me towards the end. I appreciate it.